What's up, everybody? Joe, are you on it? We're going to wait a little bit until some people are on it. Julia, can you look and see if you can hear it? I just want to make sure that we can hear it. It's the first show, so we're making sure everything is copacetic. So we can hear. All right. All right. Got a couple people we're waiting on. We want to make sure everybody's on. If you're on, say what's up. All right, let's get started. So, one of the biggest questions, one of the most asked questions, I should say, is the how do I lose weight question. It's probably one of the most important questions too, if you really think about it. Because there's so much information out there, there's so much bull pucky out there that people don't really know what they should do. And if you're watching this, I want to make sure that you leave your questions, type them into the comment sections down at the bottom, and we'll answer questions as we see them. And then from there, we'll go. For me, there's a few things that we have going on when it comes to losing weight. Losing weight is not rocket science. It's super easy to do, super easy to follow, and it's something that you need to be diligent about, right? So I have three things that before you even think about losing weight, before you even think about dieting or exercising or anything in between, like there's three things that you need to make sure you're doing. The first thing is make sure you're getting enough sleep, and rule of thumb, we want about 7 to 9 hours of sleep. And that's every single night, right? So sleep is extremely important. It's one of the most overlooked health things that we do for ourselves. And it's probably more important than, anything else that you have going on, no matter what diet is. And the reason why is because sleep helps to reduce inflammation. It helps the body to repair itself. It helps to reduce stress. It helps to do all of these things that we need in order to prime the body to lose the weight that we desire. The second thing is to make sure that we have ample amounts of hydration. So you want to make sure you're drinking water on a consistent basis. And it's not you need to drink 20 ounces of water or a half a gallon of water. The rule of thumb is about half of your body weight in ounces, right? So you want half your body weight in ounces of water on a regular day, every day, any day for that. And for that water to, for water itself, for hydration itself, it's over the course of the entire day. It's not necessarily the amount, right? So it's not, I need to drink half of my body weight in ounces of water at the beginning of the day. We want that over the course of the entire day. So our first question is, how much sleep is enough, right? So we want 7 to 9 hours of sleep, right? So you have to, everything is personal, right? So everything about health and wellness is extremely personal. So for some people, it could be 7 hours. For some people, it could be 9 hours. But if you're sleeping for 7 hours and you're still sleepy, or you feel like you're, lagging a little bit during the day, then you want to make sure you're getting more sleep, right? So make sure that you judge it because sleep is one of those things, like it's like debt. It's like the IRS. It's going to come collecting regardless of what you think. So if you get 6 hours of sleep and you're like, oh, I'm fine, 6 hours is good. And then Thursday, you're like dog tired, and then you just crash and burn and you sleep all day for, the next 2 days. So we don't want that, because sleep will collect its debt at some point in time. So you want to make sure you're getting the sleep that you need, which normally is between 7 and 9 hours. So if you're sleeping 7 hours now and you're like, no, that doesn't work, I need more, then you need to increase it. And you can do those in a couple different ways. You can get more sleep by either going to bed early or sleeping later, obviously, right? But you know what? It's one of these things where some people may only get 4 hours of sleep, and for sleep purposes, like to go from 4 hours to 9 hours may be extremely difficult. So it's okay to start to incrementally increase your sleep over the long haul, right? So maybe an extra 20 minutes here, an extra 30 minutes the next week, maybe, and then over the next, 8 weeks, then we're getting up into 7 hours of sleep. You don't have to do it. You don't have to make these big drastic changes all at once. It could be small increments until you get to a place that's comfortable enough for you to do it. So half your body weight, Aisha asks, I don't understand half of your body weight in ounces. So basically what it means is stand on a scale, see how much you weigh. So let's say you weigh, 100 pounds, right? Half of your body weight would be 50. So you would have to drink 50 ounces of water every single day. That would be the baseline. Now understand that the water intake for that day doesn't necessarily have anything to do with any outside situations. Like we live in Las Vegas. If we live in Las Vegas and it's super hot, right, you would have to adjust for that. But really, it's about knowing your body and finding something that that your body can handle, right? So only thing I'm giving you are the basic guidelines in order to start the process. But at the end of the day, it all falls on what you and your body absolutely needs. It could be less than half your body weight. It could be more than, but that is a great place to start, right? No matter what, it's a great place to start, right? Nothing that I say is concrete, because we have to take into consideration you, the individual, that is needing to do whatever it is that we have going on. So we have to make sure that what I'm saying is not gospel. It's just a recommendation to get the process started. Our next question is from my wife, actually. Thanks, babe, for listening. If someone is not getting enough sleep at night, are naps beneficial health-wise? Yes. Short answer is yes. But like I said before, my previous rant, it depends on if you can function after naps and, digging into the rhythms of sleep and stuff like that. Yeah, it's beneficial. For me, like I can't nap, because if I nap midday, then I will mess up my sleep for the rest of the night going into the next day. So I can't nap. So what I would suggest, if you're thinking about, if you're saying to yourself, like, my schedule is way too busy and I can't get 8 hours of sleep because I have, soccer practice, or I have whatever going on in my life. I have kids, I have this, I have that, I have a second job. So I need to find some other way to get sleep, because the only amount of time I have, or only amount of block time I have, is about 6 hours, right? So we start with that 6 hours, and then we say, hey, can we get 45 minutes of sleep somewhere else? Yeah, possibly. We can get that 45 minutes of sleep somewhere else, and then we can see if there's anything else that we need. So always understand, and I want to stress this point so much. One, everything that I say is a base. From there, we build on that base. And we have to take into consideration you. You are the key factor to everything that we have going on, right? If you can, then we do it. If you can't, then we don't. All right. Always understand that. Don't listen to any person out there that tells you that this is how you have to do it, because that is not the case. I've trained, I have taught, I have coached, I've done all of these things, and that is not right. There is no cookie cutter way to get to this place that you want. So don't. All right. We start with the base and then we change from there. All right. But if you don't at least get the basics down, then you'll never, ever get to this place that you really, really want to get to. So with that being said, we understand that getting sleep is one of the most important things. If you're not prepping yourself to combat the issues with sleep, like inflammation and, those, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But if you don't have that, then we can't get to the next things, right? So it doesn't matter how much exercise or how much dieting or anything else. If your body is not prepped to do what's important, then it won't do it, or you'll have a very, very difficult time doing so. All right. So sleep 7 to 9 hours. You can nap. Just make sure that you understand your own bodily process. Number 2, got to drink water, half of your body weight. I think we expressed that. We talked about that. And then number 3 is activity. Activity is different than exercise. Okay. So as a rule of thumb, especially if you have one of these, like a Fitbit, it'll tell you about 10,000 steps, which is a baseline, right? You want to get 10,000 steps on a daily basis, and that'll give you your activity level at a very high level, right? From there, then we can add exercise, but that's later on. If you're not even walking, then you're already behind the curve. So I'll tell you right now that walking or getting your steps, at least 10,000 steps, is way, way, way more important than exercise, right? There's a study that came out that stated that being sedentary is the new smoking. Yeah. It's that detrimental to your health to not move around. So we want to make sure that you're getting some steps, getting up. And just like water, you want to make sure that you are, you want to make sure that you're getting it throughout the course of the day and you're not overloading it at one particular time. So you don't want to get 10,000 steps first thing in the morning, because that's a workout. We want that spread out over the course of the day. Rule of thumb, about 250 steps an hour will get you right in that range. Okay. All right. So one thing, big shout out, as you can see, I got my Marine Corps hat on because today is the Marine Corps birthday. So shout out to all my Marines out there. I love you. Hoorah, Semper Fi, and happy birthday. All right. So next question. Are electronic activity trackers a good purchase? Yes. And here's why. I have one. I have a Fitbit. I've used them all. I've used Fitbits, Garmin's, Vivo Smarts, smartwatches, everything. They are a great purchase because they make you mindful. Being mindful, to me, is probably, it trumps everything. It's one of the most important things that you could possibly do in your health journey, right? It's just knowing what you do on a daily basis. So these things are a great purchase because they make you mindful. Mine buzzes every hour when I don't get 250 steps, and it says something like, take me for a walk, or get me out strolling, or go see the sunlight, or smell the roses, whatever it may be. It gets you out there and makes you aware of what you are doing on a daily basis. So yeah, and also, as I know, it programs to my phone here, and I'll be in a challenge or something with my wife, and then her and I can both keep track of, how much activity we're doing, and we can kind of motivate each other. So I think simply being aware of where you are gives you an advantage, right? No matter what that may be. We can talk about life, we can talk about business, and we can definitely talk about health, right? So health, if you understand where you are, then you can understand what needs to be fixed. So if you can spring for one of these, do it. However, on your phones, there are countless apps that you can download on your phone. Some pedometers. I know the iPhone, if you have an iPhone, it has eye health on it, and it is already tracking your steps right now. The only thing you have to do is keep it on you. All right. So make sure that you're using those things if you can, because you want to make sure that you're getting the steps. The steps are important. All right. Any other questions as we, continue on this journey and this path down, trying to understand where we start at to lose weight? I'll answer those questions as they come. It's very important. So we want to make sure that we're answering your questions. This isn't just me sitting on my soapbox or anything like that. I want to make sure that I'm answering the questions to you, because I could just rifle off a bunch of information. If it doesn't, make sense to you, then you won't do it. I will say this as a note, I don't want to get too philosophical or sentimental or whatever it may be, but I think that it's important for you to understand that weight loss is your journey, and don't let anyone tell you how to do it. All right. This is something that you have to be in control of. And if it don't be discouraged by how long it takes, or the amount of, activity that comes along with it. Don't be discouraged by that, because the only program that doesn't work is the one that you won't do. So it doesn't matter if you are, eating smaller meals or whatever it is, there's so many ways to get to this goal that you don't have to be discouraged by the way that you choose to do so. All right. So our next question is from Ebony. This question, I think she posted this to me already before the show, and I know I had to answer this question. So here's the thing. Here's the question, right? Bread. Is it okay to eat if you're trying to lose belly fat? All right. I'm going to make a lot of my dietitian friends happy, because one of the things in the industry is that we demonize carbohydrates as being bad or something that you can't eat. I think we first off, we do something egregious, right? We label things good and bad, and there is no such thing as good and bad, only different. Some things have a better attrition rate to what we're trying to accomplish, and some don't, right? So when it comes to bread, we have to understand where we are, what we're doing, what our goals are, and then we go from there, right? So let's say if we were to count calories or count macros, like macros meaning, proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. If bread has 100 carbohydrates per gram or whatever it is, then you wouldn't be able to eat as much other things if you were going to use it with bread, right? So even like rice, right? So there's in a cup of rice, I believe there's like 45 grams of carbohydrates. If your daily goal is 100 grams, then you can only have 2 cups of rice, and then you're done with carbohydrates for the day, right? So no, bread isn't bad. It may not be the best thing you can do, right? It may not be the best thing you can eat for what you're trying to accomplish, but it's not bad or it's not wrong, right? So for one piece of bread, you have to look up your serving size. Let me take a look real quick. I want to make sure that we are on the same page. One slice of white bread has 79 calories in it, right? That's fine. Bread, let's find carbohydrates for it. Carbohydrates. One slice of bread has about 14 grams of carbohydrates. So it's not bad, but it may not be the best thing for you, because you can get way more food from something else like green vegetables, or even what else? You can get way more food per gram of carbohydrates from, say, vegetables or squash or things like that. So think of your foods like this. We want to think of your foods as good, better, and best, right? So good would be, some random meal that you have, and then there's a way to make that one a little bit better, And then the best way would be, dark green leafies, lean proteins, essential fatty acids, and things of that sort, like avocados and nuts and things like that. And then we would just be regressing back from there. Good, better, best. All right. What's the next question? Have you used any of the eating apps? What do you suggest is a good one? All right. So here's my thing when it comes to eating apps. I've used them and I failed at using them and I've succeeded at using them. Right. So it's all about what you will actually do. Like MyFitnessPal is a pretty good one, but we're not using these as gospel, right? We're using the apps as a way to be mindful, right? So you know what you're eating or what you're doing because of the app is, you're keeping track of what you're doing because of the app. The app isn't, golden, right? It's like I can get 2 same size oranges and they will have 2 totally different nutritional values. So it doesn't really matter. I'm not really looking for statistics or data from it, but I am definitely looking for you to use it to be mindful of what you're eating over the course of a day, right? For me, I tend to tell a majority of my participants or clients to use like pictures, right? So like I think using your phone and creating a little file and pictures that says meals for the week, date it, and then take a picture every single day or every single meal of what you've eaten. That way you can know exactly what it is. It also helps me as a health coach. It helps me to understand kind of what you really are eating because these apps are very arbitrary, right? They have very set standards as to how they, record data. So you may say, hey, I ate chicken breast, salad, and, broccoli or a small cup of rice. But then when I look at your picture, I can also see that it's twice as big as what you put into MyFitnessPal or an app like that. And you also covered your salad with ranch dressing, right? Which is something that you won't actually add to those apps. So it's definitely good to use those things and use pictures because they give me a really, really, really good understanding as to what you're actually doing in real life. All right. So thanks, Aisha, for that question. That's a pretty good question too. There are tons of apps. Go to your app store in Google or iPhone and just, type in health apps and all of them come up. The one I have a lot of, use with is MyFitnessPal. Obviously, I think everyone has used MyFitnessPal, and the iHealth app because it syncs to it syncs to the Fitbit, it syncs to Garmin because I run triathlons. They all kind of speak to each other. I like apps that are going to keep everything together, right? So I don't like apps that I have to, go do this and manage this all by itself. I like apps that, like MyFitnessPal, I can manage my steps. I can manage my my activity. I can manage my exercise. I can manage my intake and my outtake, all of that from that one app. So that's a pretty good thing. So whatever keeps you engaged, right, and mindful of what you're doing is a great app. All right, let's see. Next question is from Jerry. How does one stay motivated on track? Jerry, I love you. You're one of my favorite people, just so you know. But here's the thing, right? I heard a great quote a couple days ago, and I've been telling everybody this. You will what's necessary, and then later you learn to love what you will. And for people who have a hard time staying motivated, I don't care. It sounds harsh, but I don't really care if you're motivated or not because it's necessary, right? Your health is the biggest commodity that you have in life. And it doesn't matter what you think about it, right? So it would do best for you to get it under control. So if you have to dig down deep in your solar plexus and do what's necessary. And Jerry, I think I've told you this before. Most of us don't like going to work, right? But we get up every single morning and we go because we have to. So with that being said, because we have to go to work, is the reason why we go. And that sounds super stupid to say out loud, but we have to go. And your health is no different. Getting up and taking 30 minutes or 45 minutes to go for a walk or swim laps in the pool or do whatever, it's necessary. It has to get done. So you will yourself, you scrape yourself off the ground and you go do what you have to do until you get to a place where you love it. I've been in that boat as well. Like, I don't get me wrong. I don't want anyone to think that like I have it all put together, because I don't. When I got out of the Marine Corps, hoorah Marines, happy birthday. But when I got out of the Marine Corps, I was 177 pounds. Within 12 months, I was 280 pounds. I met two dudes that helped me work out and helped me get my stuff together. And I was down to like 215 pounds. It was them that motivated me to go back to go to school and do what I'm doing right now. And even from right now, I've struggled. I've struggled every single day. Like, I get up, sometimes I don't want to work out. Like, I don't ever want any of you that's listening to me think that you don't have to. You know, like, I don't want you to think like we have it all together, because we don't. This is hard. Like, I'm not gonna fool you. This is hard. It's one of the hardest things I've ever done, other than being married. But staying on top of my health is necessary, so I do it. All right, what's the next question? All right, the next question is, what role does genetics play in weight loss? Well, it plays a big role, right? Genetics is one of those things, right? It's the difference between you being short or tall, right? We have to take that into consideration, right? It's not a scapegoat, it's not a cop-out. Just because you come from a family of overweight people doesn't mean you can't change it. The only difference is how hard it is for you to do it, So it may take you longer and it may be harder to accomplish your weight loss goals, but at the end of the day, it still can be done. It still can happen, right? Like, when I was in the Marine Corps, there was this dude, and he used to eat like McDonald's cheeseburgers day after day after day, and he had a 6-pack, and I wanted to smack the dog mess out of him all the time just because he had a 6-pack and he ate cheeseburgers. I smell a cheeseburger and I get a beer belly, and then he drink beer. Like, it's ridiculous. And you know what? Life ain't fair, but oh well. So yes, genetics plays a big role in how your body responds to certain things, but it isn't the end all when it comes to accomplishing the goal. You can accomplish the goal, right? It's no different than being born in the slums or being born of wealth. Being born of wealth, it may be a shorter amount of time to get there. Being born of poverty, it may take you longer, but you can still get there. You still have the same opportunities. These are all lifestyle things. So the lifestyle portion of it is all about you and your changes. And also what you're willing to actually do in real life. Oh, excuse me. Let's go to the next question. Thanks for the question, babe. Love you. Sharika Tucker asks, why is it so hard to start? I love you, Sharika, just so you know. But it's not hard to start. I think we start things all the time. I think the hard part is being consistent or staying the course, right? Like, even you've started many times, but you haven't been consistent. So really, it's about the same thing I told Jerry about being motivated to stay on track, right? It's your work. You just need to work. You have to will yourself to doing what's necessary, because it is necessary for your health, for your children's health, and everybody who knows and loves you. Because we all love you. We all love each other as people, right? And we want the best for each other. So I think it's important for you to understand that, A, you're not doing it for just you. You're doing it for all of us. Like, your health is important to everyone. And I'm speaking, and I apologize for everyone that's listening right now, but I'm specifically talking to Sharika right now because I love you and I care about your life. I don't care about, whatever else is going on. Start, do it, and take it day by day. Start tomorrow. Go for a walk. It doesn't have to be getting into the gym or, bench pressing, deadlifting, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be that. It could simply be you getting up first thing in the morning, walking out that front door and walking your neighborhood, going to the pool, splashing around. It doesn't have to be specific. Just start something and just continue to do that. And exactly. I just got a comment that says, and keep starting. Yes. You start every single day. Every day is Monday. And every day we start something. Every single day we start. I don't care if you think it's hard, because guess what? 12 months is going to go by regardless. Why not have those 12 months be something that you look back on and say, I did this in those 12 months. Don't worry about the rest of it. Every single day you start. I love you, just so you know. And I'm sorry I took up part of the show to address you, but I love you and I want you to make it, because you can make it. You're a lot stronger than you give yourself credit for. And I cherish my relationship with you. So thank you. Next question from Ayana Sanchez. Why is it easier for men to lose weight than women? Well, that's a real blanket statement, because it isn't always, right? So it isn't always easier for men to lose weight, but at the same time it is, right? So a lot of that has to do with genetics and things like that. There are some things for men that is working towards that's working in their favor that isn't working for you, especially as women age and they get older, right? So hormones play a big role, right? So for men, testosterone is, like the key, right? So for men, you can lose weight by simply, lifting heavy and, doing all of those things that you can do for as a man. You can lift heavy, your testosterone kicks in, it aids in building muscles and losing weight and dropping body fat and all those things. But women, they have other stuff, right? And I'm not 100% well versed in the female hormone system to discuss the female hormone system, but I do know that for women and hormones, they play a huge factor, right? So that's the reason why you see a lot more women that have, issues with thyroid and post-menopause or premenopausal, they start to gain weight. Women who've had children, they gain weight, all types of stuff. All right. So I would suggest, if you're a woman and you've tried everything that you can to lose weight, talk to your doctor and see if you can get a hormone screening or a hormone panel done. That way you can understand where your hormones are and you can understand, what's going on in your body and see if your hormones are, hurting your progress. All right. So I apologize if that wasn't as clear, but like I said, I don't get into the weeds when it comes to female hormones. I'm a male, so I don't necessarily understand the woman's impact of it, but I do know that it has an issue. All right. So what's the next question? There's a free activity tracker apps. There it is. What? Okay. All right. Next question. What are the main bad habits that need to be cut in the beginning to get a good, healthy start? So when it comes to starting, right, there's three things that we have to do. And I said at the very, very beginning of the show, it will be sleep, activity, hydration. Those are the three things that we need to have done. I don't really care about taking anything out or stopping anything. I care about adding the things that we need. And if you continuously do that over the course of time, you'll get rid of the bad habits all on your own. You don't need me to coach you out of that, right? So I want you to get good sleep, get hydration, and activity. And then from there, then we'll talk about getting exercise and nutrition or dieting or whatever it may be. Those would be the things. But when it comes to bad habits, like I don't know what your habits are on a day-to-day basis. I think the worst habit you can have is to think you can't do it, or to think that it's too hard or that it's too far away, right? Get that out of your mind, because there's no need for that. All right. So you have to believe that you can do it. And I've told you before, Jerry, and I don't want my shows to be me pointing people out, but I've told you that you don't have to believe in yourself. You just need to believe in me enough to believe in you. And then from there, we'll make it. But you're going to be my biggest success story there, Jerry. I promise you. And I'm super excited. I'm more excited than you are. But the bad habit that you have is that you don't believe, or you don't think you can do it. I believe you can do it. I know you can do it. You are the man, and I can't wait for you to be successful. I would scream, but it'll probably blow your ears out, but I'm super amped up right now. All right, let's move on. Hey, no problem, Jerry. I love you, bro. All right, let's move on. All right, so we got the three things. Just keep putting your questions down. I'm seeing them on my screen here. So as you ask the questions, I'll answer them as I see them. I appreciate everybody who's tuning in right now. Love you all. You are my life. So, all right, so we got water, half your body weight in ounces. We have sleep, 7 to 9 hours. And we have activity, which is 10,000 steps or 250 steps an hour, right? Those are the three things that we have to have in order to, get to this healthy place, whatever you want to call it. Once we get there and we have that like down pat, then we want to start venturing off into the specifics, the shit that you see on TV, right? Like diets and exercise programs, right? They are important. Don't get me wrong. They are important, but you have to prep yourself in order to get to that phase. So make sure that you're doing the first three things, and then we can talk about nutrition. Now, there's a million ways to guide your nutrition or to create your nutrition in order to lose weight or whatever it may be, right? It could be as simple as cutting calories, which is something that what's the point system program that has point system? I think it's Weight Watchers or something like that. So Weight Watchers is basically calorie restriction. You can manipulate macronutrients, which is to cut all your carbohydrates out and focus on proteins and fats, which is what we call the Atkins diet, right? So the Atkins diet is low carb, high protein, high fats. But and then I think now they're calling it the ketogenesis diet and things like that. So you can make sure that you're doing those things over the course of a day. Question came in real quick. How many steps in a day is a good range? 10,000 steps would be a good first marker. If you're already getting 10,000 steps, then just increase that by say 10%. That'd be a good place to start at. But 10,000 steps if you're doing nothing. If you're doing a lot, increase it by 10%, 10 to 20%. But back to what I was saying about exercising and things like that. Back to what I was saying about exercising or nutrition is there's many, many ways, right? So there is no cookie cutter way to get there. Everything works. And it's funny because I don't know if you guys are familiar with the What the Health documentary. There's a part in there where the guy asks, I think his name is Chip or something like that, asks the doctor what diet is best, and he responds with everything works. And guess what? It does. Everything kind of works, but everything isn't the best. I guess I can say that, if I can say that right. But everything works as long as you're consistent to it. So you can lose weight by calorie restriction. You can lose weight by going on an Atkins diet. You can lose weight by everything. You can lose weight by freaking eating one Skittle a day. Call it the Skittle diet. It all works. So, but if you're not doing the first three things, then the diet and exercise doesn't freaking matter at all. Okay. Are there any other questions out there? Does anybody else have any questions? because those are the basics. Like I don't want to get too far into the woods tonight about, what it is that that you can do this in order to start getting to that place. Plus, I also want to keep this down to, 45 to 50 minutes. I don't want it to be too long. But if you have any other questions, make sure you reach out to me. Let me put my email. Put my email up here. Gmails at So if you have any questions, make sure that you have that you reach out. You send me an email or you reach out to me on social media. So that is on all my social media: Twitter, Instagram, everything. We got a new question that just came in. It says how to lose stomach weight. All right, so that's a really good question. Thanks, Hope, for that. We lose stomach weight in the kitchen, right? So all about what you eat, what you consume, that determines how you lose weight, because weight isn't lost. Weight in your stomach is no different than weight in your back or your arms or your feet or whatever it may be. We lose weight together, right? So, like, to be honest, if you're a woman and you're freaking working out and you're eating right, then your breast size will get smaller, your butt size will get smaller. All of that stuff happens all together. But in order to lose stomach weight or to flatten your stomach, it starts in the kitchen, right? So reduce your carbohydrates is one thing. Get your essential fatty acids through avocados and flax, nuts and seeds and things like that. You can get it from there, and that's where it starts. That's where it is. So you got it. All right. So it is 6:42. I appreciate everybody who has logged on and listened to the show. I appreciate you all. Please write in the comments, as you're sharing this, please do share it with everyone that you know so they can look at it and watch it. Email me and let me know what's the topic that you'd like to hear about next week, because we'll be doing this every single Friday at 6:00. All right. So make sure you write in there, what are some questions or deals or issues that you have that you want discussed. The goal for this show, is to provide you with as much information as I possibly can, because this information is, people charge you for this information. So I want to make sure that you're getting it because I have it and I care about you and everything that you're doing. So I want to make sure that you're getting as much as you can. Last question before I get out of here. A couple questions just came in is, do water aerobics work? Yes. It's a short answer. Everything works. So yes, water aerobics works. If you like it, do it. The only thing that doesn't work is the stuff that you don't like. I almost said shit, but this the stuff that you don't like, the stuff that you won't be consistent with. All right. So everything works if you're going to do it. All right. Christy Golden Ash wrote in, I'm on a high protein, low carb, low fat, lost 5 pounds since Monday. Good job, Christy. Everything works. Everything works. I would say though that if you're on a high protein, you need to get high fats too. You need to start getting some because you don't want to reduce your calorie intake too low, because your body responds to that very, very aggressively. And the weight that you may have lost may not be from you actually losing weight because you're doing it the right way, but because your body is adjusting to such low calories because you're only eating high protein. So just be careful with that. And what I don't want to see in the future is for you to, get to a plateau, because what our bodies tend to do is we find homeostasis, right? Your body finds homeostasis and it adjusts to the bull crap that you're doing to it. So for example, if I was to crick my neck like this here, eventually over time, my eyes will turn so that I see straight. That's my body's way of adjusting to the things that I'm doing as a person, right? So don't get too caught up in the weight loss or the 5 pounds that you've lost is your body adjusting to what you're doing. So if I stop eating right now, my body will lose weight in 7 days because I haven't eaten anything. Your body's doing the exact same thing. So I'm not telling you not to do it. All I'm saying is be careful about what you're doing, because you don't want to get to a place where you've reduced your calories so much that your body won't respond, or that when you go back into something normal, you just put it on twice as fast. So thanks for all the questions. I appreciate you all. I want to do this every single Friday. If you have any specific questions, put them in the comments and I will get to them as best I can. And then we'll create the content for the next show. But over the next 2 days, we'll be picking out the topics that we've heard from every single person, and we'll create the show for Monday. So be on the lookout for that. I appreciate you all. Thank you. I love you. Thank you for listening to my little deal here. I hope this helped. This is really the only thing that I want out of this, is that it helps. So if you have any tips or pointers, please feel free to reach out. All right. Love you all. Take care. Peace.